Welcome all to this new episode. With us today is a very special guest. He's a very well-known instructor of the English language, and he is very, very well known and kind to a lot of people on social media. Let me now, please, Mr. Muaath, can you introduce yourself to the people watching us today?
Of course. First of all, I'd like to thank you very much for such a great introduction. I don't think I
Welcome.
really deserve that. Well, first of all, my name is Muaath, obviously. I'm Egyptian. I was born and raised, I grew up in Egypt. And now I live in UAE for the last 4 years. So, yeah, I studied computer science and information systems. And up until I was a graduate, I like my English knowledge was not that good. My numbers in the English class were not high. Having my English uh, good was actually started after I was graduated. So what I wanted to say is I studied computer science. I thought I would or I wanted to be a programmer for the rest of my life, but then I realized that I'm passionate about something else and it's never too late to start over. I decided to start learning something else, and here I am, a
So,
certified.
please, in brief, can you explain how did that begin? How did you discover that you can learn and you can understand the English language very well and as apparently right now?
Okay, so for me to answer this question, I need to highlight a very important fact first. For Egyptians, or probably for the rest of even the Arabic countries, we study English for 5 years in the primary school, and then 3 more years in the elementary school, and then also in the high school. So the English language subject is there in every year. We study English. We know almost everything about the language, but in Arabic. So what happens at this point is that if you get the student, the smartest student that always got the highest numbers in the class, and you put him in a conversation with a native speaker, he would actually struggle, right, to understand what the native speaker is saying, and he would also struggle to explain what he wants to say. And that happens because our brains think in Arabic, right? If you
Right.
ask the same student, what
Because
is
we were taught in Arabic.
yeah, exactly. And that's because we were taught in Arabic. We were never given the chance to speak in English in the class. The opposite always happened. The teacher asks you, how do we form the past simple? Uh, how is it formed? What is the form or how it works? So you need to explain that in Arabic. He asks you in Arabic, and definitely you also need to explain that in Arabic. The thing is that we dealt with the English language as we deal with other subjects, that we need to memorize the tenses, we need to memorize these stuff, but that's not the case, or that's not how it should be. A language should be taught as children learn, right? The
How is
process,
that?
great. I'm happy to answer such a question. I also need to ask you a question at first. If you were
Okay.
not, if your parents decided not to take you to a school, do you think you would have known how to speak Arabic or no?
Of course, I will.
Of course. So let's get a kid and put him in an English-speaking environment, and we never take him to school. He never learns how to write. He never learns the letters or how to say that, how to say this. He just lives with his family, right? His siblings and his neighbors, and he plays with the kids in the playground, something. He learns the language. Why? Because he, for example, he hears his father at home saying, asking his mom to bring a glass of water. So now it goes like the kid is playing around in the apartment or in the house, and then he hears his father goes like, Hazim or whatever he's calling his brother, please give me a glass of water. All right, and then after
Yeah.
that, he sees his brother bringing a glass of water and handing it over to his father. So now this kid understands that please give me a glass of water is the way to ask someone to give you some water to drink, right? So next time, if this kid is thirsty, his brain would actually like he would definitely do the same thing. Hazim, would you please give me a glass of water? So this is the same way a kid learns the language. So the right way to learn the language is by facilitating the receptive skills for sufficient time in order for your productive skills to work. And that brings me to another point, that we have four skills that we use with any language in the world.
Right.
Those four skills are listening and reading, speaking, and of course writing, right? So let's divide these four skills into two categories. The first category